Imagine getting paid every 2 weeks. But before your money even has time to breathe, most of it is already gone. For millions of Americans, credit cards have become part of that cycle.
As of the first quarter of 2026, Americans were carrying about $1.25 trillion in credit card balances.
But here's the important part. Not everyone carrying a credit card balance is drowning. The real problem begins when debt becomes the only way to keep up.
Whenever everyday expenses rise faster than someone's income, a gap appears. And that gap has to be filled somehow.
A credit card can fill that gap instantly. You buy what you need today and promise to deal with the bill later. At first, it can feel harmless. Maybe it's groceries. Maybe it's an unexpected repair. Maybe it's a bill that arrived at exactly the wrong time. But one emergency can become two. Two purchases can become 10. And suddenly, the balance that was supposed to be temporary starts becoming permanent. And when that balance carries over, interest can begin adding to the cost. The longer the debt stays around, the harder it can become to get rid of. This is how the debt snowball begins. New purchases add to the balance, interest adds to the cost, and the borrower has to work harder just to stand still. And the problem isn't happening in a vacuum. Many households have faced higher costs for essentials, making it harder for some people to absorb unexpected expenses. Federal Reserve survey data shows something important. Credit card balances increased much more among people who said they were struggling financially than among those living comfortably. For borrowers who said they were finding it difficult to get by, the average credit card balance increased from about $600–700 in 2023 to more than $9,000 in 2025. When savings are thin, even one unexpected expense can become a credit card expense. A broken car can mean missing work. A major repair can cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. And for someone without enough savings, the credit card may feel like the only immediate option. The same thing can happen with medical expenses, household emergencies, or any other surprise that arrives before the next paycheck. There's also a psychological difference. Spending cash feels immediate. Swiping or tapping a card can make the cost feel less painful in the moment.
That creates a powerful temptation. Enjoy the purchase now and deal with the financial consequences later.
Then there are the small recurring expenses. One subscription may seem insignificant, but several small charges can quietly become a meaningful monthly bill. As income rises, spending can rise too. This is called lifestyle inflation. And if spending grows faster than savings, credit cards can quietly become the bridge. Social media can make that pressure even stronger. You're constantly shown what other people appear to have, even when you don't know how they actually paid for it. The result can be a dangerous mindset. If everyone else seems to be upgrading, maybe you should upgrade too. Credit availability can also expand. A higher limit may provide flexibility, but it can also make it easier to borrow more than you can comfortably repay. One of the biggest mental traps is confusing a small monthly payment with an affordable purchase. Eventually, some borrowers start using one card to manage another. Instead of solving the problem, they're moving the problem around. A balance transfer can sometimes be a useful financial tool, but it doesn't magically erase debt. The balance still has to be paid. For someone living paycheck to paycheck, the cycle can become repetitive. Get paid, pay the card, pay the bills, use the card again, and wait for the next paycheck. Then comes the moment every borrower fears. The payment is due, but the money isn't there. Once payments become seriously late, the financial consequences can become much more severe, affecting a person's credit profile and making future borrowing more difficult. In the first quarter of 2026, the New York Fed reported about $1 million in credit card balances. It also reported a 7.1% of balances into serious delinquency. Credit card debt doesn't always stay isolated. It can affect credit access, borrowing costs, and the ability to handle the next financial emergency. The card itself isn't automatically the villain. The real difference is whether you control the balance, or the balance starts controlling you. The first step out of the cycle is simple, but uncomfortable. Know exactly how much you owe, what each balance costs, and what you're paying every month. The next step is to stop adding new debt whenever possible. Paying down a balance becomes much harder if new charges keep replacing the money you're paying off. Even a modest emergency fund can create breathing room. The goal is to make the next surprise expense less likely to become new debt. For people paying down multiple debts, one common strategy is to prioritize the balances with the highest interest costs, while continuing to make required payments on the others. But paying off debt isn't only about making bigger payments. It's also about changing the system that created the debt in the first place. The credit card debt story is bigger than one person making one bad decision. It's a combination of income, expenses, emergencies, financial habits, and access to credit. That's why this isn't simply a story about irresponsible spending. Personal choices matter, but financial circumstances matter too. The real question isn't whether credit cards are good or bad. It's whether the person using one has enough financial room to repay what they borrow. For many people, the turning point begins when they stop looking only at the next payment and start looking at the entire financial picture. Credit cards can be useful tools. But when borrowed money becomes the foundation of everyday life, the cost can grow much faster than expected. The goal isn't to fear credit, it's to understand it. Because the best financial tool isn't the card in your wallet, exactly what you're getting into before you swipe. If you found this useful, subscribe for more simple explanations.